This weekend sees the start of the Rugby League World Cup, making every wife in Australia happy that their husband is watching more rugby league. So the first game is Australia versus England.
Yeah.
England will probably come out and try and ambush Australia, you would think, but I can't see them getting anywhere near it.
Yeah. I had a coffee with Andrew Johns yesterday, name dropper. Anyway, no, and we just talked about the game, and we just said England a chance, and he reckons no hope. And I thought, England always have a chance. They always match us in the forwards. It's just their halves, like that Gale doesn't know what's coming for him. Boyd Cordner just running these ridiculous lines at him. He can't tackle Gale, full stop. He misses about 6 or 7 tackles. Over in the English Super League, you can hide him, but you're not going to hide him in this game. And then, you've got Gillett on the other side. They're just going to hammer their halves. Our forwards like Woodsy and Clemmer and Trebojevic, Boyd Cordner, and all them, they'll handle it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe something that's going to be a bit different is that I think you can punch on again.
Can you?
They've changed the rules. I think there's one hit. So I think blokes like Clemmer, and I don't think there'll be any little cheeky halfbacks running in, slapping big props on the arse and on the back of their head. So look out, Haas are going to get their head punched in if you want to jump in on the big forwards. So
you ruined it for everyone when you knocked out Field.
My bad.
The second game, Australia wins that.
Mate, I don't know. I think England has a team to upset us if we're off our game. You know what I mean?
If the team bus doesn't turn up,
you think it's that bad?
I cannot see them.
Really?
You
don't think they've got Roby's world class? They're forward, Sam Burgess, Tom Burgess.
You're trying to talk them up like you tried to talk everyone playing Melbourne up. They cannot win. It's unfiltered. Let's tell it as it is.
I reckon they're a chance. I'm going to back England. All right, fuck you.
Oh, there we go. Now, our new favourite team, the PNG Kummels, are playing against Wales.
I feel sorry for Wales.
They're going to kill them.
Playing against PNG, I don't care what side you are, if you're the Australian side, New Zealand side, Samoa, Tonga, it's going to be physical.
Oh.
And I don't think Wales have the troops to deal with it. Not for 80 minutes. The first 25, 30 minutes are going to be brutal. And
how much is it going to mean to them up there? We've been up there, as we said.
You've seen it. You didn't understand it until... And I didn't understand it.
You got mobbed.
I knew the NRL was so popular up there, but they're going to jam-pack that stadium out. There's going to be people hanging from the rafters, and it's just going to be ridiculous. And they're going to play for their people, and they will not lose. I feel sorry for any team that has to go up there and play them.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of games up there. It's hot as hell. They can deal with it. They think they're playing in the winter, and they're gonna run all over Wales. I feel sorry for them.
There were blokes up there in jumpers, and we were up there. It was 32 degrees.
They had jeans on and a jumper and beanies, and we're sitting there just boiling,
sweating, drinking SP. So PNG win that one by plenty, and we are again big fans of PNG, and good on you, boys. Now the next game's New Zealand versus Samoa, and that's going to be a good one.
Mate, that's probably the
probably going to be the round.
It's probably going to be the most physical game.
Yeah.
The Kiwis,
they got a big point to prove.
They've got a massive point to prove. There's a lot of pressure on Sean Johnson, Tuivasa Sheck, Marty Tapau, Hargraves.
You've just listed all those blokes. That's actually a pretty handy.
They've got a good side. You can't underestimate. They've been flying under the radar a fair bit. So they'll be out there to prove a point and put some points on Samoa.
Yeah. So look, and Samoa is going to be tough. I'll tell you that is going to be the pick of the round.
Yeah.
The next game is Fiji versus the USA. That will not be the pick of the round.
Yeah. I heard some Yanks on the TV just thinking they're going to come out and shock the world and prove to everybody that they're good. They're just going to get smacked. They're going to put about 50 on them.
They will not be rating particularly well in Detroit, I cannot imagine.
I don't think they're going to beat NFL over there. So
I don't think so. So the next game is another massive game between the might of Ireland against the Italians. Now, the Italians have got a handy side.
Tedesco, just give him the ball.
Tedesco?
No, Guerrero was going to play. He was out. But little Matty Johns' kid.
Yeah. They reckon he's going all right,
mate, he tried to take Fafita head-on off the kickoff. He just got thrown about 10 metres, but he doesn't give a shit, mate. He's got some balls.
He's tough.
He's got some balls.
Yeah, so who plays for Ireland? O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaq Hennessy.
The Irish post-game,
I'd love to go to that game.
Are they called the Leprechauns?
I think.
I'm sorry. Then we've got Scotland versus Tonga. I don't know what the good people of Scotland are doing, but do not watch that game because it will be ugly.
Yeah, but they've got some all right players. Got Lachlan Coote and Kane Lynette, but they're probably going to need William Wallace to come off the bench and absolutely smash the Tongan side. And because I looked at that team and they've got some players that should be in, that would make most sides, you know, not even in their 17. So they're going to come out and try and make a point.
The end of that game ends up like the end of Braveheart, let me tell you.
Yeah, I think Taumalolo is going to try and prove a point because everyone's been trying to question Taumalolo and Fafita. You know, why would you go back to Tonga? You know what I mean? Trying to discredit Tonga, which I think is a joke.
Just going back to that again. Look, it's settled down now, but I again have absolutely no issue with blokes playing. They've given the framework is if you want to play for a specific country, the Pacific Islands or whatever, you're allowed to play them for the World Cup and then go back. Now, if they're going to make this a genuine World Cup, I still have got absolutely no problem with people going back to their heritage.
Mate, I don't understand. I mean, no one would be even talking about the World Cup if Taumalolo didn't say he wasn't playing for New Zealand and Fafita dropped out of the Kangaroos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with Fafita, he's got a point to prove. You know, I think he's still filthy on, you know, what happened in the grand final year. You know, he deserves that Clive Churchill. No disrespect to Louis, but I mean, he deserves that Clive Churchill and deserved to be picked in that test squad. He didn't get either. So I'm pretty much, he come back, got his origin spot back, got his test spot back, waited till, that's why everyone's saying, oh, it's the timing thing, it's the timing. I think it was pretty calculated.
And Tonga do have a lot to prove.
But have a look at that. I mean, you get Fafita out. Everyone keeps talking about Fafita. Regan Campbell-Gillard gets a call-up. That's, how about we put a positive on it and just go, well, Campbell-Gillard, I thought, deserved to make the team in the first place. And now he gets a chance to have a crack in the World Cup. So that's a positive, you know. Fafita dropping out might cost him the rest of his rep career.
He may never play for Australia.
But he knew the chances of it. He made 100%. That decision because and people don't understand. His old man's Tongan. He's half Tongan, so he wanted to represent his people. You know, so that's what frustrates me when even Cooper Cronk come out and said, "Oh, it's a bad decision" and all this kind of stuff. Having a crack at him. When's the right decision?
Yeah.
You know, when's the right timing?
It's not a wrong decision.
It's not a wrong decision. Don't, you know.
It meant enough to him. For whatever reasons that he chose to do it, he chose to do it, and he is the only one that can make that decision.
For a person, he has a lot of reasons to drop out of the Australian team.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see that, and I can sort of see what was happening. You know, people don't really understand where the politics sort of come into getting that green and gold jersey. You know, and he deserved it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and the last game, France versus Lebanon.
That'll be a cracker because whoever wins that game, it's pretty much like the final. They win that game,
that's their big game.
Yeah, that's the biggest game. So whoever gets that gets the front of the pack and they pretty much go into the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Another thing I've got to say with the World Cup, I don't understand why we've got 14 teams. It's stupid. We've got 2 groups of 4 and then 2 groups of 3.
And they could have kept the Cook
Like
Islands.
why can't we get why can't we have 2 more countries? Get an Indigenous side in there and put the Cook Islands in there. Then you've got 4 groups of 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're trying to grow the game.
An Indigenous team would be unreal.
We're trying to grow the game. As if you couldn't get, a Canadian side. They play rugby league up there.
Yeah.
You know, like the Greeks, they can always summon up a team. Braithen Nass will come out of retirement.
You're 15% Iberian. You could have captain coach Spain.
But I mean, there's two more countries out there that can play in this World Cup.
2 more.
And
there's probably more.
There's probably more, but why
give
isn't
an opportunity,
there?
You know?
Just give them opportunity to get on the world stage, even if they get flogged by Australia by 50.
Look
what happened in the '95 World Cup with the Union.
Yeah,
the All Blacks give it 150-0, 150-0 to the Japanese. You know, and now the Japanese beat South Africa. 3 World Cups later,
and they're hosting the World Cup next.
So you've got to give these countries a chance against the big dogs. Otherwise, they're just never ever going to grow, and they'll just dream. Oh, I wonder what it's like to play against Australia.
Speaking of not getting a chance, the Women's Rugby World Cup, Rugby League World Cup's on at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're playing all of their games at a different ground.
I think that's embarrassing.
Have they lost an opportunity there?
Like with the AFL, they've got about 10 or 12 women's teams, that are under the men's side, so they get to play for Fremantle, Geelong, Hawthorn, West Coast, all these sort of teams. I don't know, why does the NRL have to wait another 5 or 6 years until we lose it all? Strike while the iron's hot now. Well, I have a look at the Women's Rugby League now, and the way they play, with the ferocity that they play,
they're tough.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I look at them Anzac tests, and I look at the state of origin that they get to play. they rip in as much as they can, you know, and I think someone needs to be a bit of a voice for the women, come on this show and speak up, because otherwise the NRL and everyone's just going to run all over you, and you're going to end up playing at some local park in a World Cup final. You know what I mean? It's just not good enough. And I think the women deserve better. And I think there's such a great supporter base, and people love the women's game because they're getting shown, you know, they're playing before the Anzac Test and everything like that. So why can't we just jump on it now and make at least, you know, the Sydney teams, at least the Sydney teams, and then maybe a Brisbane team. You can get 8 or 9 women's teams going in the NRL. Yeah. You know, something, I don't know if it's whether to do with the TV rights or the CBA, something like that, but they need a players association, and it needs to be joined with our men's association so we can stick up for them. Because if they don't, they're just going to be a little bit of a flash in the pan. Yeah, they were good, but they didn't stick up for themselves.
We've spoken about the rugby union before, and how the AFL and the women's soccer have done such an amazing job of promoting the women's game, and league and union are dropping so far behind. And I think, you know,
like, why can't...
We live in 2017,
yeah.
You know. There's a market for it. The AFL's showing that. So why they're not doing more is beyond me.
The market is massive for women, you know. Like you're getting these young girls who were playing touch football OzTag about 20 years ago. It's a dream for these young girls to play for Australia. You know, instead of like 20, 30 years ago, there wasn't anything. So now they can look at all these young women playing before the NRL Australian side and New South Wales and everything like that, and you can go, yeah, I want to play for Australia. Actually, you can achieve that now.
Yeah.
You know, it's achievable, instead of going, oh, well, I just get to play OzTag and a little bit of league here, and then it just ends. I've got to go do something else. So
there's a triple header, I think, on one of the Sundays, and everyone get out there and watch it. And if you haven't seen a game of Women's Rugby League, you'll be surprised at the skill level and, as Will said, the ferocity. We'll probably go out there and have a look, and I think get involved.
I just don't understand why the NRL haven't jumped on it, because Wayne Bennett come up with a perfect article, as he usually does. He was spot on with everything, and, you know, do we have to wait 10 years until it's pretty much gone? No. And the women's game is gone, but the women's AFL game has gone skyrocketed, and we're still down here.
Another example.